Thomas, thank you for giving us a bit of time today. It's great to see you.
Good to be here.
The last 24 hours, the full weight of the NFL business and transactions, I'm sure it's landed in your lap pretty hectic, but can you explain the past day for us and now here as a new LA Charger tight end?
Yeah, it was unexpected. About 48 hours ago, I was actually picking up my missus from the airport, which, mind you, where I live in Denver is about 50 minutes away. And on the way to the airport, I get a call from the Chargers saying, "Hey, do you want to come in for a visit in a few hours?" And I looked at her because we're doing long distance at the moment. Obviously, I've got to take it. So I literally drove back, packed the day bag, drove straight back to the airport on a flight, got in at midnight, woke up early, did my physicals, had a workout, and then I got the good news.
With that workout, what's your mindset going into that? Obviously, you know what's on the line, but you're working with passing and you're working with drills that maybe you haven't done or doing different different styles of it. What's the mentality like when you go in there and have to lock in and perform?
I think the biggest thing for me is always, I try and show my athleticism. Route running, I'm just trying to run as fast as I can, blocking, just hitting the pad, striking my hands as fast as I can, just being physical. And like you said, it's more a physical thing. It's not as mental, these workouts. So for me, it was just trying to show as dominant of an athlete as I can be and potentially be. And yeah, just trying to showcase that. Get a bit of adrenaline going as well.
Speaking of adrenaline, practice session number 1's done. How was it out there?
It was good. I got thrown in a few times. Coach has been really good, just kind of guiding me. Obviously, I got to learn the playbook, but sort of tell me what to do just so I can get out there, get some reps in, listen to the calls. Pick things up, and I mean, they've been great. Even the past 24 hours last night, Coach gave me a call, went through the plays with me, just sort of get me started, put me on the right way, so that's awesome.
Have you had any FaceTime yet with Coach Harbaugh, or has it just been via correspondence, and what's your early impression of him?
Yeah, honestly, it's probably the first visit I've had where the head coach has come up to me, so that was pretty awesome. He watched my workout, came up and saw me after I was about to sign, and super personable. Kind of even in college, you kind of have this barrier with your head coach. It's a bit hard sometimes to talk, but I mean, he's like I said, super personable, really friendly to a porridge, and it's been awesome.
So the last year for you, obviously spending time with the Denver Broncos on the IPP, and then there's a roster move you waived a couple of months ago. What's it been like for the last couple of months, kind of resetting, getting yourself ready, and for this opportunity that you've now taken?
There's a lot of uncertainty. I'm pretty lucky. I got a very good support system. I went back home, just kept training as usual. Kind of timed up with the NFL break, so I used that break to just kind of go home, train, so keep my bodies physically ready. It's hard mentally to get a hold of things, but just kind of staying ready whenever calls were. I came over obviously a bit early, just get ready so I could visit teams, and thankfully LA called and I answered. So.
All right, speaking of phone calls, I'm sure there's been a phone call back home. What were the reaction from the family and the parents been like?
I think my parents were more relieved for my sake. I think mentally I was probably bigger of a burden to them. I mean, they obviously want me to be in and succeed and everything, but they're also super supportive. And I think just seeing how I've been sort of past couple months, I think like I said, they were just more relieved for my sake that I did get that call, and they were over the moon. Parents were over the moon. My brothers are stoked. Brother's already looking out for a flight. I said just wait a few weeks, but they're super excited.
The Yassmin brothers on the front foot, as always, good to hear. But with the opportunity that's ahead, and looking at pre-season, you mentioned showing off athleticism. Is there a part of your game that you've been working on, or part of your skill set you've been working on in the downtime that you're excited to show when you get that opportunity in pre-season?
Yeah, I think a big thing I have been working on was just and this has come from sort of rugby background, but I did put a big emphasis on my conditioning when I was back home. I think that's one thing that's kind of overlooked in football, and I feel like historically I've been good at bursts, and then you just gas out quickly, and it's such a powerful game. So sort of getting that baseline up a bit so I can just kind of repeated efforts, and that's something I've just sort of building that motor a bit more, and obviously technical drills and route running and trying to refine those skills, but just sort of that having that capacity to be able to go a bit more than I did before.
Turning it back a year or so when you first landed with the Denver Broncos, but spending the season with them. Was there a welcome to the NFL moment that you had where the kind of the stage, the competition, your achievement in getting to that level, but what your new environment was that it hit you and kind of that sense really sunk in?
Yeah, my welcome to the NFL moment, probably a 7-on-7 moment in OTAs. I was going up against Riley Moss, great friend of mine, good guy, and obviously starting corner for the Broncos alongside Pat. And just firstly, like the speed of the game and the physicality of the game, like, you know, corners in college aren't as physical in that regard, you can't get away with a lot. In the NFL, I remember just thinking like, all right, it's my first rep, kind of just take it into things, just getting absolutely jammed off the line. I mean, I've got 50 pounds on the kid and just getting absolutely hands in the chest and taking 10 seconds to bloody get off. The ball's already been thrown. And that was kind of like my moment. I was like, oh, it's a different ball game.
Looking out there at the defense that you'll get a chance to run against throughout this time with the Chargers and throughout preseason as we get into the season, the likes of Khalil Mack out there, the likes of Derwin James out there. Were any of the names that you were standing on the sideline just going, yeah, time to have a little crack at these guys?
Yeah, I mean, like exactly those two names, Derwin James, Khalil Mack, like it was kind of surreal seeing those guys. Like even in Australia before I came to America, like I knew those names, or at least Khalil Mack, and seeing them in person, like they're some pretty big boys. So, I mean, if I get an opportunity, sort of get a run against them, they'll be, I mean, competing against those guys. If you can, you know, compete against those, you can compete against anyone in the NFL. So, yeah, I do hope to get an opportunity to sort of work against those guys.
I know Bo Nix has an arm on him, and you played with some good quarterbacks at Utah, but the guy out there, Justin Herbert, can sling it with about the best of them, including get those revs up on the ball. That's a serious howitzer he's got on his right shoulder. What's the early impression of the way that thing comes out of his hand?
I mean, he's unbelievable. He deserves the look. Like I said, I've been here for less than 48 hours, but it was pretty cool watching him. I was even texting my brother yesterday, just like seeing him walking around the building. I'm like, it's Justin Herbert. It's pretty sick. Like, you still get a bit starstruck seeing these guys. And obviously, I went up against him my freshman year, which would have been his senior year at college. But it's different, like seeing him in this setting, and yeah, watching him sling the ball out there. It's unbelievably impressive.
Seeing someone like Keenan Allen come back into the building the last couple of days. I know you weren't here for that, but this week he's come back and there's been a homecoming. You hear that sentiment here. Seeing the camaraderie and the chemistry that we feel watching these practices. What's your early impression? Again, it's only been a short time, but are you getting a sense that there's a really good team connection that's been built out here that you get to join into?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, you know, he's been here before. Just even seeing like people interact with him, you can tell he commands a lot of respect, and not like in a, you know, dictatorial way, but he's just like obviously done a lot for the program, so a lot of guys just have that innate respect for him. And super nice guy, you know, introduced myself, and I mean everyone in the program's been unbelievable. Like obviously seeing me as a new face, everyone's come up and introduced themselves, and like it's a really close-knit group. So yeah, no, it's just awesome to be here.
What's the goals you're setting yourself for this season? We know here there's the IPP pathway that and program that really has helped identify talent, but you're someone with college pedigree that's been on an NFL roster before. What are the goals you've set yourself for 2025 now?
Obviously it's hard coming in during camp, you know. I wish I came in earlier, but it's just picking up the playbook as early as I can, trying to showcase myself in preseason. Of course I'm going to shoot to make that roster. I mean, I think if anyone else didn't say the same thing, I'd be very surprised, but that's always going to be the goal. Shoot to make that roster, sort of help out wherever I can, special teams, on offense, whatever that is, and take any chance I can.
And look, we know there's not full tackling to the ground here. We know that when you come in contact with a defender, there's a little bump, right, reset the play. How eager are you to get into a position this preseason when you get that ball in your hand and you show off that yak ability and your the skills you have bumping off tackles and creating chunk plays? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, that's, at least in my opinion, the best part of my game is sort of when I have that ball in my hand. So I hope I get that opportunity. Like I said, I got to get that playbook down pat for them to trust me to put me out there in these last few games. And yeah, if I get that ball in my hands, I mean, I'm going to make sure at least the first guy doesn't get me down. It's going to take a couple.
Look, it's a unique transaction that occurs where you have someone like Jordan Petaia, a fellow Aussie, someone with a rugby background as well. Yeah. Obviously that he gets waived injured and moved out. That opens the opportunity. Is it kind of surreal that this opportunity comes and not just in, as you know, you've experienced transactions in the NFL before, but that this opportunity comes with two Aussies going in different directions. It's kind of a surreal experience to go through.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I know Jordan, unbelievable guy. We played Aussie schoolboy together. I was at Barbers, and yeah, it's just I think now, like, you know, with the IPP and how it's working, there's a lot of Australian talent. So I think now it'll probably be more of a common thing than it was a few years ago. But yeah, definitely. And like, you know, everyone always asks the question if the two Aussies know each other. Coincidentally, we did, but no, not every Australian does know each other. But yeah, no, it's just, like I said, I was just blessed to have the opportunity, you know, unfortunate circumstances, but take it when I can.
Absolutely. Now, the Rams are the team that hosts this game down in Melbourne next year, right? And we're not here to talk about the Rams, we're here to talk about Chargers and yourself.
Or why they're hosting it in Melbourne.
Sorry?
I said, or why they're hosting it in Melbourne.
As a proud Sydney-sider, I know you'd love to see that game in Sydney, but on the Rams schedule, I know this is down the road, but on the Rams schedule next year, they are hosting the game, and they are also hosting the Chargers at some point next season. So there's a chance that the Chargers could be the team that heads down to Australia. What are your thoughts, one, perhaps, in the idea that you could be playing in that game down in Melbourne next year, but also the idea that the game is coming to Australia and there's going to be 95,000 screaming Aussies watching a regular season proper game?
That would be unbelievable. I mean, the whole Yassmin family would make a trip down there. Probably hear the drums from the back. But that would be unbelievable. I mean, just the thought of being able to play, you know, I came over here, I've spent almost 7 years in America now, getting to this point, and to be able to go home and showcase to everyone else, it'd be, I mean, once in a lifetime opportunity. I feel like probably be the only person in that position that would be able to do so.
Last question. You were one of the first to go and make the transition from rugby to playing a skill position at college. You went through adversity, you burst out and broke out in one of your later years in college. You overcame an injury in your final season. You landed with the Broncos, you go through the wave with the Broncos, now you're getting an opportunity here. There's got to be a sense of pride that you've got in the resilience that you've shown from going from a sport back home where you're really successful in rugby in the 15-man game and opportunities you might have had, but what you've gone through. It must be the resilience that you've shown, that must be a point of pride for you.
Yeah, definitely. It's, like you said, it's definitely an aspect of pride, and you know, I say it like a handful of people I've said it to back home, and like, you know, my family know, but like even when I went through the whole waiver process of the Broncos, like it was almost embarrassing to me to try to tell people, and like I didn't want to tell people what happened. Obviously, like you said, I've given up so much to get to this point, and I've worked so hard to put myself in this position. So yeah, it was just like in the back of my mind, especially like I'm still young, like it's not like I'm getting up there. I believe my career is pretty young, and I just couldn't call it quits at this point. I knew I had too much to give and too much to go. So yeah, like I said, I went home, I had a great support system. Family's been unbelievable. Just training and keeping fit and just waiting for the next opportunity.